ahead, sir.
So look, I believe in like child support. Okay, I absolutely do. I don't ever think that. Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's the first time I ever heard a man say that.
Yeah, I believe in child support to the fullest. Because I don't think nobody should raise a child alone ever. And look, even in a situation where a person say, you know, hey, like a woman, again, homie at the bottom say he's been addressed. You know what I'm saying? He's been asked to have a kid for somebody or whatever. Let's say he would have done it, and then boom. First she said she didn't want him around. Now she put him on child support. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I don't know. That's difficult because I will say I think it's absolutely horrible to trap somebody into anything, you know, that they clearly didn't want, especially a child, because children is the one thing that is innocent, because nobody get asked to be here. If we here, we just got here because our parents had a wonderful or interesting night, whatever it is, right? Now that's just the facts. But I don't know, because that's tricky. I do believe that's tricky. Because
Can I jump in for you? I think I know where you want to go with the child support thing.
You say that one more time. Oh, and I looked up the word, y'all. I don't know what the hell.
Unscrupulous? No.
Yeah.
Sir, about the child support. I understand your point about saying that, you know, why you believe in it, but let me just pose this to you. The way that women have formed their life and built their lives before they had children, and it's a lot of times a lot of our women are in debt and they're very much in love with the facade and the image of who they are. But I think that when you have children, the idea of women's support and the money that they need for a man, most of that money is not going towards the child. It's going towards them maintaining their image and maintaining their situation. I'm a firm believer that most of the time the kids don't give a fuck what kind of money the father's giving. Now, if they're struggling, there needs to be a family unit where it's like, hey, family who, like, it's not just the father. If there's a family unit from the woman and a family unit from the man, it should be an easy conversation of, oh, hey, we need to get diet, we need to get this. But women in general want so much for raising the child, as far as the things that they think they need to give them to make the child comfortable, and it's not real. In other countries, I've seen children so happy just being with their father just because the father is there. And whatever money they get, like, it doesn't really matter, because in the end, that's what makes so many arguments between, especially during a breakup. Well, I need money for this, and I need money because my son needs to go to karate classes and basketball camp. And it's like, why are you putting all this money onto the child that the child doesn't need? I think a lot of times in our Black community, the women spend so much money on the facade of raising the child and making him look swaggy, and all that shit costs so much money, and they get mad that a man's not providing for her, especially if that man's not in the house. If that man's not in the house, I think the goal has to be, if we're not together, I don't care about what money you're giving me. I want time with you as the father. I want time with your family, and they're spending time with our kids. And I think as that starts to happen, then the family and that father will be providing what it needs to be provided, not for the woman's wants and not for the woman's ego, but for what the child actually needs. I think child support completely supersedes that. And I think child support ends up bringing nothing but animosity from both sides, because the women think they want more money because they're not getting enough. And the man's like, yo, I'm getting killed how much money I have to give to the government to pay for this child that I'm not in the house raising. And you got another boyfriend anyway in the house around my child. So why am I spending all this money for you guys to live your life when I'm over here struggling and losing like almost 40% of my check?
Okay, can I reply to that?
Yeah.
Well, my question really was for that parent that's not there, you know, that parent that don't want to be. Well, I don't even want to say don't want to, he's just not, you know what I mean? Like, it's the difference between the father that's saying, you know, I want to split times, I want to do things throughout the week. I'm going to take care of my kids still over here, so you don't even need some of the stuff over there. It's the difference between that child, that parent, I mean, versus a parent who versus a parent who barely does anything. I feel like a person who barely does anything should pay the for the child and the mother, to be honest with you. And the reason I say that is because that mother is the reason why that man get to go to all these clubs. That mother is the reason why he gets to go to job interviews freely. He don't have to pay for a babysitter. He don't have to do none of this stuff. He don't have to pay for daycare. He don't have to do. And then when people say, oh well, the mother is spending it on her. But guess what? I think she should. You know why? Because she probably spent the past 10 years spending it on the child where you didn't do nothing. Not you per se, but the person. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I know how to listen, fam.
And so that's why I feel like that, bro. I feel like how can you like? I feel like some of that money be owed to the person because the person, man, they like a single, bro. I have a lot of respect for single mothers, bro. Like I have a lot of respect for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's because I've seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot, and like I said, I'm not speaking about the active parent. I'm not speaking about the active father. I think a woman that do that is just greedy. You see what I'm saying? I think the woman that do that is just, you know, horrible. But when the man
have you seen men who want to be a part of their child's lives, but they can't because of the temperament of the woman?
Yeah, I have. I've definitely. No. Well, let me correct it. I disagree with that. They can't. See, here's what I do, right? When I talk to guys who they say, man, I want to see my kid, but my baby mama tripping, right? I say, well, when your next court date? Oh, well, I ain't got that yet. Well, you ain't fighting hard enough. Simple. You ain't fighting hard enough.
Do you know how much that costs to truly have to fight for something that you shouldn't have to fight for?
It's gonna cost you the same. It's gonna cost you more in child support. You better off going to put yourself on it. At least they'll show you some type of leniency. I've definitely seen that.
Okay. I've definitely seen how child support has ruined me. And let me take that back so much. It's not so much the problem of the child support. It's about it's very, very difficult. If I have a child with a woman and then she wants to be that bitter woman, it's very hard for me to have a life after that with another woman and have a fulfilling life, because she's always going to be there being a catalyst against that. And always, if whatever money I'm trying to pour into my next life, because maybe she wants to move on and she has a new man and a new situation, I think when that situation occurs financially, you need to leave me out of it, because I'm spending my money with the child and the time that I spend with my child, and you and your new boyfriend or new whatever, you can spend the money that you have, and I can raise my children financially how I want. I have my house, and I can spend my money and give them that code, and you can spend all your money pouring into making him look all pretty or making her look all pretty and spending all that extra money on the facade, whereas most men are very logical with their money and would rather be spending money on the arts and the sports or the creativity or the things. I think men are very much more logical about the money they spend raising a child rather than women. They'll spend a lot more money pouring into the facade, so it's like a pet or a doll in a lot of times. How much money and how much energy they pour into the child, how to make them look. It's not really important. We're very swagalicious in our culture, and it's actually it's a detriment to what we do to our children to try to make them so look at me, look at me, look at me. When in reality, most men, if they had the opportunities, they would be in their child's lives and be pouring in a different way if the court system was allowing them. But the court system shows men all the time that really all we care about is how much money you are making and giving to this woman for your child. And that's not important in the big picture for the child doesn't care unless the child's truly struggling and hungry. But most times it's not even that case. It's just a woman angry that she didn't get the outcome that she got with that man. So she's like, well, F it. He needs to at least be responsible and pay me for this. It's beyond toxic.
Yeah. Again, not towards the parents I'm just speaking on parents that do absolutely nothing, bro. Now, okay. And I don't even I'm gonna say I'm speaking on parents that do the bare minimum. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because there's some people that they think, I've seen a father, he think a pair of Jordans was good for the year. You see what I'm
And
saying?
you gotta
Like,
yeah, you're true.
like, and that's what I mean when I say, like, I ain't talking about wife benefits or nothing like that. Nah, I just don't think nobody should have a free life. He knew what he was doing
Okay.
when he was doing it. He knew what could have came from it when he was doing what he was doing. So why should he have a free life?
I think you're correct, and you're right. A lot of men, once they have it, they rather, okay, well, I got a kid, the mother's taking care of it, and I get to go see my kid every few days. Like, that's wrong alchemy wise. And you as a man should be pouring into your child not so much the money, but time. The money is not the issue, it's time. And I think if women would even understand that they get a lot more freedom and a lot less headache if they weren't focused so much on the money that the man's giving them. But it's like, hey, no, 50-50 custody. I don't care what my kid is wearing when he's with you or when she's with you. Like, you're with daddy time. But when they're with me, I'm gonna put my kid on a pedestal, and we're gonna have that life. But when it's daddy time, it looks like you're gonna be going down a notch a bit. It's gonna be a bit of a struggle, but it's a beautiful struggle. And I think it's actually a great thing to have both sides, where when a child can see a man in his element, where it's like, wow, like you really existing with damn near just the bare minimums, and you loving life. And then you can see the mother side, where it's like we have all this luxury, and I think it's a good balance. I think it's way more important that men get in their children's lives and spend actual time and actual, like, spending the night, like, that's way more important to me. And I think that would be way more positive for the community, instead of us always going back and forth about how much money the father needs to be given. Because in the end, women will always want more. Like, you will never make enough as a father. When a woman's, she'll always want more.
I'm not even gonna say that. Well,